This will be the most expensive fighter jet Canada has ever purchased. But with such cross-border tensions now, is a plane built by an American defense company still right for Canada?
For many decades, military aircraft have been built in this massive facility here in Fort Worth, Texas. You hear the aircraft going over right now. This is Air Force Plant number 4, and it's taken us months to gain access to what is ordinarily a very secretive facility. Join us inside as we show you where the F-35 is built.
Each plane begins as just a wing. That's what you see here, and that's all that's built for the first 2 of the 16 jets Canada has committed to buying. In total, 20 nations have placed orders, from Japan to Israel, Romania to Singapore. Every single one put together in this massive American facility. More than 1,200 so far.
What I'd like to see, Canada become our 51st state.
But talk like this from the U.S. Commander-in-Chief has threatened to scuttle the deal.
Does Lockheed Martin feel that it needs to fight to keep Canada's business?
We need to fight to keep every customer's business.
Chauncey McIntosh is a vice president at Lockheed Martin. He runs the F-35 program.
The challenge, I think, for a lot of Canadians is we probably became overly dependent on the United States for decades for our defense. And now Canadians are worried that Americans are the threat.
The fact that Canadian industry plays a major part in building this platform and has continued to grow in that, and the economic impact that it provides back to Canada. So I would maybe reverse the question and say, is this not a Canadian-involved program? From the very inception, when we thought of the F-35, Canada been a partner from that moment all the way through today. Canada is definitely a part of this F-35 platform.
He has a point.
While the fighter jets are assembled here in Texas, parts come from a global supply chain. And because Canada has been part of this program for decades, Canadian suppliers are among those putting parts in. $3 million plus for each aircraft that comes off this line.
80% of this plane is built somewhere else before being shipped to Fort Worth for assembly. Around 30 contractors in Canada are building key parts of the F-35. Including right here in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia at Stelia. Miranda Lone's job is to make sure every single piece is up to snuff for both defense and commercial parts like these.
What's it like for you to be helping build the F-35 right here?
Oh, very exciting. F-35 is a really cool program. It's a very complex program with very stringent requirements. It's very rewarding because it's military and it's proprietary information.
Do your friends who don't know what you do and then find out that you're working on the F-35, are they surprised?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anybody I talk to and say that we're manufacturing F-35 aircraft parts in Nova Scotia are shocked to know that that's what we're doing for work, yes.
The picturesque town may not seem like an obvious place to build parts of warplanes, but besides tourism and fishing, the manufacturer is one of the biggest employers in town. They make parts for Boeing and Airbus, and now for military clients too.
We make 50 different part numbers for the F-35.
Dave Mitchell is Stelia's Senior Program Manager of Defense.
The F-35 is supposed to be the most sophisticated, most advanced fighter jet that exists today with stealth capabilities. What is it that a composite part from here helps it to do?
They're structural, they're lightweight. There are some stealth properties that are tied to...
I can see in your face you don't want to say too much about it.
I really can't, no. That's basically all I can really say.
Suffice to say, they make carbon composite panels and doors, which allow the stealth plane to stay invisible to an adversary's radar.
It is so secretive, the work that they do here in Nova Scotia, that while they can show us the parts that they make for civilian aircraft, when it comes to something military like the F-35, they really can't show us anything other than these boxes that have the parts for the weapons bay doors inside. We're not allowed to look inside these boxes.
It's almost emotional, like when you think, hey, we're in Lunenburg, this small town, and we've been along for the ride right from the beginning. And when you actually see them in the sky, it's going to really, hit home that, hey, our parts are on those planes.
But it's also possible Canada could cut the contract short.
Well, that would be disappointing. No, that's a government decision. I really can't comment on, whether the program is going to be used by the Canadian government or not. We're proud to be on the program either way. Hopefully we would retain the work for all the other countries that are going to buy the aircraft.
That is the question. Canada has the option of buying up to 88 of the planes, but it's only contractually obligated to buy 16. If the government backed away, it could hit the Canadian contractors who would lose preferential access.
If Canada walks away at 16 aircraft, are Canadian companies still going to get business after that?
So I'd say Canada can always continue to bid at a best value.
That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get it.
It means that they will always have the opportunity to present ideas and opportunities.
That is far from a guarantee. With production of this plane expected to continue for another 25 years, new contractors are still being brought on. Christie Digital is one of them. The Kitchener, Ontario-based manufacturer used to make televisions. A year ago, they landed a contract to help build the next generation of F-35 flight simulators.
It'll be all around you. It's a 360 degrees immersive environment.
Arminder Banwait is an engineer and the director of business development.
So we were actually very excited to be a Canadian company to be selected as part of the F-35 program.
Is the work that you're doing because of the contract with Lockheed Martin now, is that going to help you expand this business with other customers?
Absolutely. It puts our LED product on the map.
And Canadian parts don't just go to Canadian planes. See the folding wings on this version of the F-35? The high-tech hinges are made in British Columbia, even though Canada will never use this version of the plane because it's intended for use on aircraft carriers and Canada doesn't have any. Many critics argue Canada should just cut short the F-35 order and add in a cheaper jet. Top of that list is often the Gripen, produced by NATO ally Sweden.
Is the F-35, in your mind, the right jet for Canada?
That's a loaded question.
Alan Williams would know. He once ran procurement for Canada's national defense, including the initial assessment of the F-35.
70% of the cost of a aircraft is its long-term support, not its acquisition. And with regard to that, the Gripen E, for instance, is 1/6 the cost per hour flying cost as the F-35. The issue
But Williams believes the Air Force is sold on the American jet over the European one.
If we were to take fewer planes from Lockheed Martin, some of the Canadian contractors could well lose out on business. Is that a reason to stay in the F-35 program?
No. I mean, the fact is that what we might lose on the F-35, we would more than gain with whoever else we've gone with. The package that the Gripen E had voiced going forward was to build them here.
Whatever Canada chooses will need to happen soon. Canceling has implication to workers and investment on both sides of the border.
What is your argument for Canada to stick with the F-35 as opposed to going to a European aircraft?
When you have one airplane, that means you've trained one set of pilots to one standard, you have maintainers that are trained to one standard, and you also have the infrastructure that comes along with all of that.
You're not a politician,
I'm not.
but there's politics involved here. You talk about threat. Some people see the United States as a threat now. How do you deal with that political context?
I myself have had the opportunity to work on many programs there supporting the security of Canada with over 1,000 employees ourselves in Canada. So when I talk about 20 nations that have already partnered to buy this airplane, this is about what's best for the security of Canada, fitting into the NATO alliance, and then that integration with the rest of the alliance.